Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to 2025, January the 6th. This is our first podcast of the year, and I believe that we all had wonderful holiday season, Christmas. In Kenya, we also celebrated our Independence Day, Boxing Day, New Year, that you all had a fantastic time with your families. And for those who were not able to have a good time because of health issues or other issues, please receive my sincere wishes that you are fully recovered from whatever situation you are in, and that we all look forward to a very healthy and a prosperous and successful 2025. We have three more podcasts to do in this series, and then I will start a new series. I would urge you please to visit my YouTube channel, and while there, don't forget to subscribe, to like, and also to share with your friends, your colleagues, and whoever you want to. This is freely given, and we freely give it out. I hope that the series up to where it has reached the end of last year, it was useful to all of us, and that we found one or two points, if not all, that we are able to apply in our different situations. So for today, we are going to be discussing about customer service. Um, Always, as I say and I do, is that I run the lab as a business. I run my employment as a business because there are outputs that are required by my employer and that we agree upon when I'm being hired, and which are reviewed regularly, at least annually, if not 6 months. Some employers insist even on a weekly meeting to check on your progress. Because I'm a leader and not a manager, I don't believe in micromanaging people. Even though people sometimes need to be micromanaged, they need to be managed very closely, but I don't believe in micromanaging people. I don't like to be micromanaged, so I don't like also micromanaging people. Because when you hire people, you need to hire people who know their stuff, people who are better than yourself, and just let them get on with the job that you have given them. If they are not able to deliver, well, unfortunately, it will be time to part ways. So let's go directly to our learning objectives of today. And at the end of this podcast, we should be able to do five things. And the first one, we should be able to recognize the variety of laboratory customer groups. The second one, we should be able to develop methods to measure customer satisfaction. The third one, we should discuss the problems that may develop with customers. The fourth one, we should suggest solutions for customer service problems. And lastly, discuss how quality management processes help the laboratory meet customer group needs and requirements. Without the customer, we do not have a lab, we do not have a business. Even if we are not a for-profit laboratory, even if we are a research lab, we have customers. These customers may be, clinical trial groups, maybe research support groups, grants, the government, whatever institution it is. There's somebody always paying for the service that we're giving in the laboratory, and that is our customer. So we have to be fully aware who our customer is, and that we keep them satisfied as much as we are able to. The laboratory needs to understand the customers and their needs and use customer feedback for improvement. Right at the outset, you have to understand who your customer is and be acutely aware that customers vote with their feet and they just walk away and find an alternative, whether in the neighborhood, whether in the city, town, local where you are, or outside your county or even country. They will go for it because now the world has become a small village. So we need to understand the customers and what are their needs, and also use customer feedback for improvement. There should be mechanisms in place to handle customer feedback and complaints. When the customer complains, let's listen and be empathetic to the complaints raised by the customers. We should not, however, think that we know it all, that uh, we know everything that we are doing. Let's get that feedback from a customer and respectfully ensure that we know how to handle the feedback. So let me lay out this scenario. A few of your customers have complained about long delays in reporting biochemistry results. A few of your customers have complained about long delays in reporting biochemistry test results. You have checked and confirmed that the delay is unreasonable, and you solved the problem. So how can you restore confidence with your customers? They have complained that they're not getting their biochemistry test results on time. You have confirmed that this is true, and you have solved the problem, whatever the problem was. Now, how can you restore the confidence with your customers to make sure that you don't lose them? That is the scenario for today. Quality is meeting customer needs, period. That is what quality is all about. And this was defined by Philip Crosby in his book, Four Absolutes of Quality Management, published in 1979, that quality is meeting the customer needs, period. So who is responsible for customer service? Is it the person at the bench? Is it the section head? Is it the lab manager? Is it the lab director? Is it the medical director? Is it the driver? Everybody in the laboratory is responsible for customer service. Everybody in the lab is responsible. And so when we have a program for improving customer satisfaction, we require several things. And the most important of them all is a commitment from all of the staff. All of the staff must know the value of customer satisfaction and must have a commitment that they are going to deliver on customer satisfaction. The second requirement is planning. If we don't plan it, we will not implement it. And if we don't implement it, we are going to fail. So planning is also a critical component. Knowledge of monitoring tools is also very important in improving customer satisfaction. And importantly, we must have the resources to be able to perform the first three: commitment, planning, and knowledge of monitoring tools. So the lab and its clients are composed of several components. On one hand, there will be the individual patients. On the other hand, there will be the public health community and the wider community at large. And in between all of this, there will be the physicians and healthcare providers. All of these are intertwined in a web that is linked and react with each other. So the lab shall be legally identifiable. You just don't operate a lab in some dingy corner above some place or below some place that cannot be identified. The lab must have a name, must have an address, must have a director, and must have also the contact information, telephone number, fax if you're still using it, and electronic addresses, email addresses, telephone numbers, all of those must be available and displayed prominently at the entrance of the laboratory. After the lab has been legally identified, there are also physician requirements. What do physicians require? The physicians interact with patients and with the larger community and public health, and they require accurate information, interpretable information, and timeliness. They require accurate information, interpretable information, and timeliness from the laboratory. Now, if they don't receive accurate information, or they receive accurate information, but it's not timely, they receive it after 6 months, then those may be good only for surveillance purposes, but not for patient care and management. So the information must be accurate, the information must be interpretable, it must make scientific sense and biological sense, and the information must be timely from the laboratory. The actions that are required to meet physician requirements, we can divide this into 3 phases: pre-examination, examination, and post-examination. The pre-examination phase requires a test menu, requires collection manual, requires requisition forms, timely delivery system. And the examination phase competency, requires competency, test validation, quality control, quality assessment, sample control, process management, and occurrence management. In the post-examination phase, it requires laboratory information system, result verification, timely results, as we said earlier, interpretable results, timely delivery, and accurate delivery of those results. Those are very important actions that are required to meet physician requirements. On the other hand, patients also have requirements, and the patient requirements that they receive from the laboratory information, safety, comfort, and privacy. Those four elements are critical for the patients to receive from the lab. They should receive the appropriate information. Safety should also be considered for the patients when they visit the laboratory. The patient comfort is also critical, and also privacy. When they also interact with the physicians and the community and the public health, this is also very important and relevant. The actions that are required to meet patients' requirements is that from the laboratory, we must provide collection information. We must provide the collection information to the patients, which sample is required, what are the containers, where they're going to collect them from, how are they going to collect them, and also provide collection facilities. This could be the phlebotomy room, it could be the washroom, which has to have the running water available, soap, tissue paper, hand towels, everything that is required in that room. Proper lighting must also be available. We should also provide trained and knowledgeable personnel who are able to provide the information and also collect the samples that are required. And we should also ensure confidentiality of records, and the proper maintenance of those records is also very critical. Now, in providing the information for patients, we must provide the laboratory address and the location. Which street, which building, which floor, which door that they need to go to. These signages must be provided very clearly. I want you to recall, for those of you who have flown to different airports all over the world, that, once you get off the plane, even as you get off the plane, the exit doors are very clearly marked. And as you go through the ramp, you know where to go to, because the signages are provided very clearly with the directions where you need to go to. The same needs to be provided for the customers in the laboratory, the address and the location directions. The hours of operation, is it operating from 8 to 5, from 7 to 7, or it operates 24/7? This is very critical. And also, when you are operating in an environment where people are different languages, so you should provide bilingual or multilingual staff who are able to interact with the patients properly. The collection requirements are the patient identification. You must properly and adequately identify the patient. Also, patient preparation is required. Prepare the patient properly. You make sure that they are comfortable. Ensure that they have the proper dressing, the proper lighting is there, and all the resources that you require in terms of the kits, in terms of safety, are all provided. Type of samples required, type of container needed is required, proper labeling, because we know what happens when we do not label the containers properly. If there are any special handling instructions, this must also be provided, and importantly, the safety precautions to be observed. Personal protective equipment, proper air circulation in the room if you're collecting deep tissue swabs like throat swabs or things like that. you need to be safe, and the patient also needs to be safe. Always assume that the biological samples you're collecting are infectious, because you don't know what they could contain, so protect yourself. When we are dealing with the public health, there are requirements that are needed, and these information materials and safety and containment. When we go out to the community, we must provide the proper information. We must provide the materials that are required to collect the samples. We must also ensure the safety of the lab personnel, the safety of the community while collecting samples. I want you to think about, pandemics or other outbreaks of highly infectious diseases like mpox, like COVID, and other outbreaks which are highly infectious. So we must be able to protect ourselves. Things about Ebola. Your safety is paramount. When we meet the community, there are also some public requirements from the laboratory. I've talked about safety, I've talked about security. Please ensure that you are secure. If the location is not secure, please don't go into that area. We need you alive, we don't need you dead. Proper containment must be observed. Transport of dangerous goods. Assume that these are highly infectious. As I said a few moments before, they're from Ebola, they're from COVID, they're from mpox, or an unidentified pathogen. So you want to ensure that the specimens have been secured properly. The people who are transporting them have been trained with the IATA regulations, and even as you generate the waste, that there's a proper waste management policies and systems in place. And lastly, we should also provide a communicable disease alert. Surveillance and response information is also required for the public. For the individual clients, we want to provide them with information that the laboratory has been inspected and accredited to high standards, but not only accredited initially, but that the laboratory is able and has been able to maintain that accreditation. So you want to put that accreditation certificate in an area of the laboratory that is seen by the clients, and also include the accreditation information in all of the materials that are used in the laboratory, like for example, the lab request forms, the results forms, and all other materials that are used and in the laboratory that comes into contact with the laboratory clients. So customer service is an integral part of a quality management system, and we cannot get away from it. It is one of the essential 12 quality management system essentials. And good customer service provides valuable information for best patient care, valuable information to improve surveillance, and professional image of the laboratory. When we provide top-notch customer service, we will have respect from the community, from the customers of the laboratory, and people will be able to trust our results. People will be able to trust the work that we do in the laboratory. So it's not only to say that we are interacting with the customers, that we are providing top-notch service, but we should be able to monitor customer satisfaction through complaint monitoring and through quality indicators that have been set by the laboratory management, and which are followed either on a daily basis, weekly basis, or whatever time period that has been selected by the laboratory. And also through internal audits, through the annual management reviews, satisfaction surveys, interviews, and focus group discussions. All of these are ways that we use in assessing customer satisfaction. So I'll go through them one more time: quality indicators, internal audit, management review, satisfaction surveys, interviews and focus group discussions, and complaint monitoring. When we receive complaints, these may just reflect only the tip of the iceberg, or as we say in tropical Africa, it is just the head of the rhino, or of the hippopotamus, sorry. It is just the head of the hippopotamus that we see above the water, but the whole body of the hippo is underwater. So it is just the tip of the iceberg. This could be a reflection of deeper issues that are in the lab that we must delve and solve. So the complaints just reflect the head of the hippo, but the actual number of dissatisfied customers is the whole body of the hippo that we are not able to see, which is underwater, or the whole body of the iceberg that is under the water. So let us appreciate the customers who are complaining. Just like when you go to an active accident scene, we are told to worry more about the silent victim of the accident rather than the noisy one. The noisy one, at least we know that they're alive, that something is happening with them, but the silent one might be in much more danger than the noisy one. So we should be worried about the customer who walks away and never comes back. We should be worried more about that one more. Not to say that we ignore the one who is making noise, but we must ensure that we give all of them proper attention. So in management review, we take the monitoring quality indicators and internal audits. These are reviewed by the management from time to time, and then the remedial action follows from this. So as I said, that the customer surveys are a requirement of quality management systems via ISO 9001, and there are templates that we can use in order to conduct customer surveys. I can provide this to you upon request, so please kindly request me. Also, you can use what you have, or you can go to the net and get also these templates that you can use. So successful surveys are planned. They are not ad hoc. They are organized, they are pre-tested, and you don't ask leading questions, and also they are unbiased. The surveys should be analyzed in a timely manner and feedback given to the customers who are involved in the survey. So you plan them, you organize them, you pre-test the tools that you are going to use in the survey. Do not ask leading questions. The questions should also be unbiased, and also analyze the survey in a timely manner. So I'll just provide you with a few tips on how to do the surveys interviews. You need to write out the questions in advance and ask specific questions and an open-ended question. These will enable you to provide honest feedback. It will enable the customer to provide honest feedback. You should also be able to pre-test the tool. And I always tell my staff, I tell my students that, when you are pre-testing tools, don't pre-test it with your friends, because your friends, may not be able to give you a honest feedback. Pre-test it with people. If there are people who don't like you, pre-test it with them. They are going to give you honest feedback, even as they are giving you what you may consider hurtful feedback, but at least they're going to be honest, instead of your friends who will tell you, oh, this is top, this is the best, and you take the tool out there and it's a complete rubbish. So ensure that you pre-test the tools. How could the laboratory improve its service to you? This is one of the questions that you want to ask. It is open-ended, and you're asking the customer, how can we improve our service to you? So the customer will be able, or should be able, to provide you with a honest feedback. For focus groups, consider using small groups of maximum between 8 to 10 people. It could be less, but not more than that. And include people with diverse backgrounds. and laboratory needs. And also start by asking questions that build trust. Ask questions that people will provide honestly. If people are sensitive about gender, sexual orientation, religious orientation, don't ask those questions which have got no relevance to laboratory needs are out of place. Don't ask them. And start by asking questions that build trust, as I've indicated, and develop a focus group guide for consistency between groups. So you want to ensure that all the groups that you have are focused and are discussing the same questions and guides. Ask only open-ended questions, not yes or no questions. So in measuring customer satisfaction, this provides us with an opportunity for improvement. And what is required is information. This information, as we have discussed, comes from surveys, comes from indicators, comes from both internal audits and external audits. And we use this information to improve the processes in the laboratory. An active quality management system ensures the laboratory meet all client requirements. An active QMS ensures the laboratories meet all client requirements. And we defined who the clients are. So in summary, the customer service is an integral part of a quality management system. It is important for the laboratory to have commitment to process, like we said, that it is everybody's business, and all of the staff must show commitment. And we need to conduct planning and monitoring. Things don't happen by themselves, so we must plan it, we must monitor it, and also know and understand clients and their needs and provide resources for the program. The resources is a critical component of the program. So the key messages for this podcast for today, ladies and gentlemen, is meeting customer needs is a primary goal of the laboratory. Meeting customer needs is a primary goal of the laboratory. An active quality management system ensures labs meet all client requirements. An active QMS ensures labs meet all client requirements. And lastly, everyone in the lab is responsible for quality and therefore for customer service. Everyone in the laboratory, from the custodian to the lab director to the medical director, is responsible for quality and therefore for customer service. So thank you very much for staying with me in this podcast on customer satisfaction. I welcome your questions, your comments, your critique. Please don't forget to visit my YouTube channel, and while you're there, subscribe, like, and share, and leave the comments. Thank you very much, and bye for now.